Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, and these news and editorial will be covered from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 15th of July. The first news is India to give land for I2U2 backed food park, something again very important. Second, Center asks state to ensure testing of monkeypox patient. We've seen the first case that was reported in Kerala. Third, the road to rolling out labor code. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. The other news, that is Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, to be extended to all districts. This is what the central government has said. And the last is an editorial, the great omission in the draft disability policies. So apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So the first news of the day, that is India to give land for I2U2 backed food park, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So what is I2U2? This comprises 4 important countries. First is I stand for India, then I stand for Israel, and 2U is United States and United Arab Emirates. So these are the 4 countries, that is why the name is I2U2. So the leaders of I2U2 at their Madden Summit has recently decided to ramp up the partnership in area which include food security, clean energy, water, transportation, health and space. Something very important. This was the first meeting that was held under the leadership of the members country. So something very important. You can expect even a question in the mains examination. Now, objective क्या थी इस पूरी मीटिंग की? So the objective of the project include reducing the trade barriers between the economies of 4 countries that I have named, harmonizing the food safety, living standard, quality जो standard है, standard of living है उसको बढ़ाना, adding to the initial list of the identified project, including the banana, potato, rice, spices and onions, right? तो कुछ ऐसे food items की जो productivities हैं वो भी उस region में आगे ना फूड पार्क अक्रॉस इंडिया की अगर बात करें, बेसिकली यूएई ने कहा है दैट दे हैव डिसाइडेड टू इन्वेस्ट ऑलमोस्ट 2 बिलियन फॉर द फूड पार्क अक्रॉस द कंट्री. बहुत सारे जगह पे वो लोकेशन आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे, बट इनिशियली दे आर प्लानिंग टू सेट अप इन मध्य प्रदेश एंड गुजरात. So incorporating the state of art climate smart technology to reduce the food wastage, conserve fresh water and employ renewable energy sources. Now the group has decided to advance the hybrid renewable energy project in Gujarat, जहाँ पे 300 megawatts की wind और solar power capacity की जो plant है वो establish की जाएगी, comprehending the battery energy station system और storage system. Now roadmap for food park establishment की अगर बात करें, how the entire food chain would be established in India. So India would provide appropriate land for food park across the country that would be built in collaboration with Israel, United States and United Arab Emirates. So जो लैंड की रिक्वायरमेंट है वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया पूरा करेगी, जो ज़रूरत लैंड है वो उनको देगी, ताकि जो मेजर फूड पार्क है वो इस्टेब्लिश हो सके और अल्टीमेटली इसके जो बेनिफिट्स है फार्मर्स या उनसे जो एसोसिएटेड स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उनको बेनिफिट्स मिले. द प्लान ऑफ इंटीग्रेटिंग food park was announced in a joint statement between the leaders of I2U2 grouping, that is India, Israel, UAE and United States. तो कई बार इस तरह के सवाल आपसे यूपीएससी में तो नहीं, कोई दूसरे और कम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन में पूछे जा सकते हैं. The food park aimed at cutting down the food waste and spoilage. That are few collaborations between the 4 countries that was recently declared. Now the other important news, that is Center asks state to ensure testing of monkeypox patient, something relevant for General Studies paper 2 under the topic issues related to development and management of health. So amid the rise in the monkeypox cases globally, the center has asked the state government to ensure the screening and testing of the suspected cases of monkeypox. You can see this is how the people actually after infection ये कुछ pimples हैं, it's kind of high pimples which is there in the body and it is very painful. The complete body is being impacted because of this pox. So center has asked the state and the union territories to identify the hospital and to ensure adequate human resources logistic support to manage the suspected case of monkeypox. एक cases report हुए इंडिया में जो कि केरला से. Now precaution dose, government has also cautioned all the citizen, even for the states जितने भी concerned management है उनको ये कहा गया है that precaution dose को बढ़ाया जाए. The ministry has said to uptake the precaution dose of Sputnik V that was only 0.5% for those who are due. If you are a candidate और आप ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने precautionary dose नहीं लिए हैं, make sure you take it. Government is also providing free to some centers. आप कोविन ऐप में जा कर के चेक कर सकते हैं किस जगह पे आपकी जिस भी सिटी में आप हैं पिन कोड के थ्रू या डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के थ्रू एंड मेक श्योर यू गेट योर प्रिकॉशनरी डोज डन. आप अपने नियर और डियर वन को भी इसके बारे में इन्फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. Now it also advised the states to ensure the availabilities of Sputnik precaution dose in the private vaccination centers. So both private and government entities are providing this. The state was advised to reach out to the beneficiaries to take the precautionary dose. Now cases in India की अगर बात करें, India reported its first case of monkeypox in 14 July 2022 from Kerala. The person was returning from UAE after being testing positive from the virus. The case was confirmed through the testing sample जो कि NIV पुणे में जो इंस्टीट्यूट है नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ वायरोलॉजी वहाँ पे फाइनल की गई, उसकी टेस्टिंग हुई एंड फाइनली it was being diagnosed that yes, the individual was basically he was actually suffering from the virus, the monkeypox. Now cases that has reported globally, the World Health Organization has reported that from January 1st to January 22, a total of 3,413 laboratory confirmed cases has been reported worldwide and one that has also been reported. It is from the 50 countries and territories. तो ये सिर्फ ये globally जो cases report किए हैं उसके बारे में. Majority of these cases has been reported from European region. 86% cases European region से हैं और 11% जो cases वो US से हैं. Now country where monkeypox has been detected. This is a map. Even you can take the screenshot. तो ये कुछ कलर कोड हैं जो आपको बताएंगे किस रीजन में कितने केसेस हुए हैं और किस जगह पे इसे एंडेमिक भी डिक्लेयर किया है. These are the name of the countries. एंडेमिक जिस कंट्रीज में से डिक्लेयर की गई है दैट इंक्लूड बेनिन, कैमरून, CAR, कॉन्गो, DRC, गैबनॉन, घाना. दीज आर द कंट्रीज. उसके अलावा आइवरी कोस्ट, लाइबेरिया, नाइजीरिया, सीरिया लेनोन एंड साउथ सूडान. सो कुछ कंट्रीज हैं जहाँ पे इन्हें अभी भी एंडेमिक का स्टेटस WHO ने दे दिया. Now, road to rolling out the labor code, something important for General Studies Paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementation. So the union government has delayed the implementation of the 4 labor code that was recently being formulated by the government, and they have delayed the framing of it, right? This is again something very important both for the prelims and mains examination. क्यों गवर्नमेंट डिले करी है, क्यों नहीं गवर्नमेंट इसको बहुत ही जल्दी इम्प्लीमेंट करने की कोशिश करी है और इसके क्या क्या प्रोटेस्ट है, क्या क्या कंसर्न है, वो आपके लिए जानना काफ़ी ज़रूरी है. The state are publishing a draft rule that are inviting comments from the stakeholders on this draft rule, and the center has also published a draft rule to certain section for the 4 code. कौन कौन से ये हैं ये 4 कोड? These are the 4 important codes. The first is the code on wage that was passed in the parliament in August 2019. उसके अलावा industrial relations code है, code on social security, code on occupational safety, health and working condition. I have already made a video on all this code. If you have not watched it, आप simple playlist में जाके search कर सकते हैं. You'll get that video. But the point is that इसको आपको डिटेल में भी देखना होगा थोड़ा कि हर एक कोड के अंदर क्या क्या प्रोविजंस रखे गए. Not into that detail, but basics आपको पता होने चाहिए. The 4 level code are basically the amalgamation of 29 central law. कुछ स्टेट के जो almost 100 laws हैं उन सबको मिला करके 4 labor codes में लाया गया. The state claims that the 4 code are a major steps towards process of labor reform. Now protest by some central trade union, उनके अपने concern हैं, उन्होंने protest raise किए. So the central trade union have held 3 general strike against the code, alleged that code will result in taking away whatever their little social or economic security is there that is left with the employment sectors. And the farm organization has also supported the trade union in the protest. तो farmers और जो trade union है इन्होंने दोनों मिलकर protest की और concern raise की है इस चार कोड के खिलाफ. The employee association too have mixed feeling towards code, but they have generally welcomed them. So these are the mixed feeling coming from the employees association, although they are the part of mainstream government. So definitely they would be not protesting to such larger extent. Now, reason for delay की अगर बात करें, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है that the main reason behind the delay of this labor code is the reason that the state government has not framed their rules as of now. The state is still in the consultation. उन्होंने अभी भी experts opinion, stakeholders या comments के लिए भी open रखा है. And according to the recent report, 24 states have so far published the draft rule of all the 4 codes, right? And labor की अगर बात करें, labor subject is a concurrent subject. There are 3 subject: union subject, state subject and concurrent subject. तो concurrent subject के अंदर power होती है both for the center and the states, right? So both state and center can make rules on the labors. Now center has also offered to help states so that the code can be implemented from 1st of July 2022. But again, it will be, this is a possibility, this is going, कुछ states ने implement करने की बात कही हुई है, but let's see how this will proceed further. Now, what lies ahead with regards to the implementation of this code? So the trade union are warning about more protest if the codes are implemented with its fullest. And they said that the center will have to repeal it as it has repealed the free farm law. जिस तरह से 3 farm laws को गवर्नमेंट ने कैंसिल किए, उस तरह से इसे भी कैंसिल करने होंगे. So people are to some extent inclined towards not letting this 4 law to be implemented in the entire country. The center too is worried about the political fallout for the implementation, and thus it would be looking possible to further delay intentionally. Let's see how this happens. And employees are working further to increase the salary bill, which hampers the profit. Recession hit economy के बाद जिस तरह से recovery हो रही है, हर एक लोगों के जो पैसे कम हुए हैं, जो livelihood options में जो degrading हुई है, उसको recover करने के लिए भी अभी chances, और इस तरह के harsh law कहीं ना कहीं उनके overall intake salaries जो हैं उनको भी कम कर सकती है. So this is how the entire concern is all about. Now the other important news, that is Beti Bachao Beti Padhao to be extended to all districts, important for general studies paper 2. Another topic, welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the state government. So according to the latest guideline that was issued by the Women and Child Development Ministry, the ministry says that the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program will now be extended to pan-India all over the country, right? So this is a flagship scheme for women empowerment which focuses on girl child education and improving the sex ratio in the country, right? So the program is operational in 405 districts at present. अगर आप एग्जाम में लिख रहे हैं आप इस तरह के नंबर्स भी कोट कर सकते हैं. Now comprehensive guideline दी है गवर्नमेंट ने. The ministry has published a comprehensive guideline for the Mission Shakti. The guideline are applicable from April, और ये जो guideline है उसमें कुछ important component को include की गई है. The component will aim for zero budget advertising and encourage spending on activities that are on ground impacting the promotion of sports among the girls, self defense बच्चों को बताना, उनके लिए camps arrange करना, constructions of girls toilet, which is again very important, making available sanitary napkin, vending machines and sanitary pad. This is a problem that still exists in country like India, right? Especially जो educational institutions हैं उन जगहों पे इसकी खासी ध्यान रखने की बात कही गई है. Now, girls' participation in sports is something that has been encouraged by the central government, and even the state government is looking forward with this. So the scheme will look to increase the girls' participation in sports under the identifying talent and linkage between them in appropriate authorities under Khelo India, जो government की important scheme है. Now, the ministry has planned to strengthen the one sports centers to be set up to facilitate women facing violence, including the domestic violence and trafficking. तो एक स्पेशल सेंटर्स बनाए गए हैं, वन स्टॉप सेंटर्स, जहाँ पे किसी भी वुमेन्स की जो ग्रीवांसेस होंगी वायलेंस को लेकर के, हरासमेंट को लेकर के, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस को लेकर के, वो वहाँ पे वो रिपोर्ट कर पाएंगी, चाहे वो ट्रैफिकिंग के केस क्यों ना हो. Now, by adding this 300 OSC, that is one stop centers, it will impact the high rate of the crime against the women, और कहीं ना कहीं इसको एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट तक बढ़ाने की भी बात की गई है. The OSC will be a mainstay in the ministry at the district level for coordinating and converging between the initiative under the Nirbhaya Fund, जो कि create की गई थी after the Nirbhaya case. And it will also have a women helpline, anti-human trafficking units, women help desk, fast track courts, and district legal service authority. So this is how the entire implementation process will take place. जो भी हमने डिस्कस किया उसकी कुछ अगर ब्रीफ आप समझना चाहें समरी के तौर पे, so additional 300 one-stop center will be set up. Government to introduce free daycare crutches facilities at Plana. Halfway homes to be set up in anti-trafficking units where group of the victims ready to reintegrate can live, work together. And hub for empowerment of women to be set up at central, state and district level to merge and monitor the scheme. So this is how the entire process would be implemented. And government is inclined जो खास करके women की participation है वो हर एक sectors में बढ़ाई जाए. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, the great omission in the draft disability policy, something important for general studies paper 2, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it, design and implementations. So the entire editorial focuses upon the empowerment of person with disability, और इस editorial को कुछ 6 important subheads में समझेंगे. The first is rationale behind the policy, about the political participation, right of a person with disabilities, inadequate representations की बात करेंगे, किस तरह से उनके representations काफ़ी कम हैं, efforts क्या लिए हैं states government ने और क्या target है political inclusions को लेकर के. Some of the important points are there. Make sure you take a note of that. And even if you're taking a note, make sure you write in while you practicing. जब आप practice करते हैं mock test को mains के लिए खास करके, तो उस पर ज़रूर इस तरह के example use करो और mains paper में आपको लिखना ही है ये सारी चीज़ें. Now, the Department of Empowerment of Person with Disability recently has released a draft on the National Policy with Person for Disabilities. और ये जो principle of draft policy, it showcases the government commitment for the inclusions and empowerment of the person with a disability by providing a mechanism that ensure full participation in the society, because these are the people that has not been the part of mainstream society, right? So the policy document highlight a detailed commitment to education, health, skill development, employment, sports and culture, social security, accessibility and institutional mechanism. Now, rationale की अगर बात करें, rationale behind this policy, government किस intention के साथ इस policy को लेकर के आई है. The first is the necessity, because government ने replace की थी 2006 में, and India is already a signatory to United Nations Convention on Right with Person with Disability. ये काफ़ी important point है, आप इसको ज़रूर लिखेंगे मेंस में. तो इंडिया ने साइन की है, उसके बाद इनैक्टमेंट ऑफ न्यू डिसेबिलिटी लेजिस्लेशन, दैट इज अ राइट ऑफ पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी 2016 एक्ट लाई गई, which increase the number of disability, जो पहले 7 नंबर हुआ करती थी डिसेबिलिटी काउंट करने के लिए, अब उस नंबर को बढ़ा करके 21 कर दिया गया, राइट. सो दिस इज देयर बीइंग पार्टी टू econ strategy on Asian Pacific Decade of Person with Disability 2013 to 2022, जिसको एक्चुअल कमिटमेंट भी कहते हैं. Now, India was prepared under the aegis of United Nations Economic and Social for Asia Pacific, which identified 10 goals in the Asian Pacific countries with inclusion and employment of the person with disability, जहाँ पे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल के टारगेट्स को भी मीट करने की जरूरत है. मेक श्योर जितने भी SDG के गोल्स हैं वो आपको याद होने चाहिए, बेसिक जो गोल्स हैं वो आपको पता होने चाहिए. Now, about the political participations, political empowerment and inclusion of disability are the issues that has not found in the Indian demographic discussion, या फिर अगर democratic discussions में अगर बात करें, इसको बहुत ज़्यादा गवर्नमेंट ने तवज्जो नहीं दिया. Now, India does not have any policy commitment and that aims to enhance the political participation of disabled people. अभी तक गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ ऐसे काम नहीं किए जहाँ पे disabled लोगों को मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिक्स में आने का मौका मिले. Now, Article 29 of the United Nations Convention on Political Rights of the Person and Disability mandate that state parties should ensure that people with disability effectively and fully participate in political and public life, right? ये उसके clauses में लिखे गए आर्टिकल 29 के अंदर, बट इस तरह की कोई स्टेप्स नहीं ली गई है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जहाँ पे इस आर्टिकल की जो ओरिजिनलिटी है उसको रखा जा सके. Now, the ancient goal also promote the participations in the political process and decision making. Now, right of person with disabilities की अगर बात करें, section 11 है of the right of person with disability act. This prescribe the election commission of India, जो हमारी ECI है और जो स्टेट इलेक्शंस कमीशंस हैं उनको ये इंश्योर करना है कि हर एक पोलिंग स्टेशन में जितने भी पोलिंग स्टेशन बनाए गए हैं उसमें डिसेबिलिटीज़ खास करके जो लोग हैं उनको एक एसेसिबल मौका मिले और उनको किसी तरह से परेशानी ना हो अपने वोट को कास्ट करने में. सो दे शुड इंश्योर दैट द एंटायर इलेक्टोरल प्रोसेस आर ईजी एंड अंडरस्टैंडेबल by the and even accessible to them, right? So they often lack accessibility polls booth in many locations. अभी भी कई ऐसे locations हैं जहाँ पे disable friendly booths नहीं बनाए गए. The Election Commission of India has developed its own procedures for handling the PWD during the election process. Now inadequate representations की बात की गई है, खास करके वैसे लोग जो disable हैं. The representation is imperative and role in further the interest of the marginalized community should be there. तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने इसी वजह से रिजर्वेशन की बातें रखी थी जहाँ पे शेड्यूल कास्ट और शेड्यूल ट्राइब को रिजर्वेशन दी गई ताकि वो मेन स्ट्रीम में आ सके. अब ज़रूरत है जो पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ हैं उनको भी मेन स्ट्रीम में लाया जाए. Now, disabled people are not represented in the three level of governance. By three level of governance, I mean the center, the state and पंचायत. ये तीन लेवल की जो गवर्नेंस है इन पे इनकी प्रॉपर रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं हो पा रही. The first virtual disabled members of the parliament is independent India, जहाँ पे एक इंडिविजुअल थे साधना गुप्ता. he has hardly find a role जहाँ पे पॉलिटिकल और डिसेबल कोर्स में सिर्फ एक ऐसे इंडिविजुअल है जिनको लाया गया. he was a visually disabled, right? तो और ऐसे लोग के एग्जाम्पल सेट करने की जरूरत है ताकि इस तबके के लोगों को भी मोटिवेशंस मिले. Now we are often failed to acknowledge the disabled political personalities who have overcome the merit barrier to come into the पॉलिटिकल स्पेस. इन लोगों ने काफ़ी स्ट्रगल किया होगा तब वो मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिक्स में आए. सो आप ये नाम को ज़रूर ध्यान रखें, साधन गुप्ता. he has hardly find the name in any political and stable discourse. Now efforts that was taken by the state government, तो कुछ ऐसे स्टेट्स हैं जिन्होंने डिसेबल पीपल को मेन स्ट्रीम डेमोक्रेसी में या फिर बात करें पार्टिसिपेशन में या पॉलिटिक्स में लाने की कोशिश की है. तो छत्तीसगढ़ द स्टेट दैट हैव इनिशिएटेड नॉमिनेटिंग one disabled person from each panchayat. It's a very good step to ensure that these people are also the part of the decision making. So this is a step that has increased the participation of the disabled people in the political space at the local level. Now target of political inclusion एक बहुत ही important aspects है. The goal of the policy document called for inclusiveness and empowerment that cannot be achieved without political inclusion. तो पॉलिटिकल इंक्लूजन काफ़ी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है ताकि इस सेक्शन के जो लोग हैं वो अपने आप को एसोसिएटेड रख सके और मोटिवेटेड भी रख सके. द पॉलिसी कैन फॉलो अ 4 प्रोलॉन्ग्ड अप्रोच. कौन कौन सी अप्रोच है? फर्स्ट, बिल्डिंग द कैपेसिटी फॉर डिसेबल पीपल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड एम्पावरिंग देम थ्रू ट्रेनिंग एंड इलेक्टोरल सिस्टम. गवर्नमेंट के स्ट्रक्चर्स में बेसिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल और जो एडवोकेसी स्किल्स हैं उनमें इनको लाना काफ़ी ज़रूरी होगा. तो ये पहली अप्रोच होगी. द अदर 3 अप्रोच इंक्लूड creation of amending or removal of legal and regulatory framework for lawmakers and elections body to encourage the political participation for the disabled. ये दूसरी steps है. तीसरी, that is inclusion of social societies to conduct domestic elections observations and voter education campaign. And last, that is the framework for the political parties to conduct meaningful outreach to the person with disabilities, जहाँ पे वो क्रिएट करेंगे अपने इलेक्शन कैंपेन्स को एंड इवन डेवलपिंग अ पॉलिटिकल पोजीशन. सो दीज आर द 4 important approach that has to be implemented to ensure that the disabled people are getting the right representation in a country, in a democracy like India, where these essentially require a great representation, a substantial representation. Now moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice आपको बताना है इनर लाइन परमिट के बारे में. बहुत ही बेसिक सवाल है बट कई बार स्टूडेंट्स इसमें मिस्टेक कर जाते हैं. ILP is issued by Union Home Ministry and even today is enforced in northeastern state Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram and Manipur. So do check it out for the correct options. Second सवाल कोवैक्स के बारे में. कोवैक्स प्रोग्राम हैज लेड बाय द Gavi, World Health Organization's Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation. The programs aims to ensure equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccine globally. So do check it out for the correct option. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.